You're listening to the Ryback Show. Feed me more. Welcome to the Ryback Show. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at, maybe good evening. I am the big guy Ryback, back once again. And today, this week, guys, we are going to be doing the Shooting Blanks Wrestling Report tomorrow at 10 a.m. And I'm going to be actually returning on a Friday for this show, the Ryback Show, at 10 a.m. But thank you guys for joining me live. Today, we actually got a cool episode. I believe I'm going to be joined here very shortly by Austin Aries and Sarah Brandow. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about the vegan diet and about health, nutrition, and fitness. Sarah has some really, really cool things that she is doing right now. And we were going to do an Instagram live, which I'm going to have to set my phone up for that over here. I forgot my little holder for that to do an Instagram live for her as well. But they're going to be joining me very shortly. First thing first, though, getting things out of the way here, paying the bills. Feed Me More Nutrition, available on feedmemore.com and Amazon, guys. Check out our Feed Me More Nutrition $4,000 Halloween cash giveaway. I am giving out $4,000 to one lucky winner for simply buying the best supplements on the planet, guys. All you got to do is go to feedmemore.com, use discount code Halloween4000 at the end of the checkout process. We give you a free option for a free shaker bottle and workout towel, 20% off your order of our already very competitive prices for premium supplements, and an automatic entry into the $4,000. Each purchase is a new entry. We use an automatic random number generator to pick the winner with all the discount codes for people who are eligible. And on Saturday, on Halloween, guys, I'm giving one of you, $4,000. This is very, very real. We've given out, I believe, $8,500 during COVID already, and we're about to make that at $12,500 in a matter of a short period of months, within a period of under 3 months, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty crazy considering everything. But it's my way of saying thank you, generating a little bit of excitement during what a lot of people would call a horrible year. I'm trying to make it the best year ever, even though I think that's not the case for a lot of people, obviously. But Feed Me More Nutrition, guys. The contest is only available on feedmemore.com. Fuel Meals, save 15% on fuelmeals.com with discount code The Big Guy. They got signature meals, custom meals, steak, chicken, all different fish entrees, vegetables. They got quesadillas, turkey burgers, sweet potato fries, brown rice, white rice, anything your heart desires. They have something for everybody. They make tracking your macronutrients and calories very, very simple, guys. Fuelmeals.com for personal videos from yours truly. Cameo.com/The Big Guy Ryback. If you would like me to crash your Zoom meeting, maybe with a live crash, which I've not done yet, though I may be willing to do that with a Cameo. Teespring, the official store for Feed Me More Nutrition, The Big Guy Ryback. Teespring.com/the Feed Me More store, or just go to teespring.com and type in the Feed Me More store. And we have all new shirts. I got a freaking jacked shirt available now. We got a Feed Me More Halloween shirt. We have Feed Me More Nutrition face masks, coffee mugs. We got Ryback Feed Me More posters, pillows, blankets. We have something for everybody over at the Teespring store. My book, Wake Up, It's Feeding Time, available in paperback and Audible, Kindle formats. Friends of the show. Zevia. Sugar-free soda, calorie-free, no artificial sweeteners or colors, sweetened with stevia. I am a huge, huge, huge fan of these, having, one here, one there. And they are much better for you than regular sodas. They have all the flavors. I am enjoying a delicious cream soda this morning. They're available at most stores, all health food stores, and then most grocery stores now as well, guys. They got the Mountain Dew, the Dr. Pepper, cherry cola, caffeine-free cola, ginger ale, root beer, the cream soda, black cherry. They have them all, so you can find the flavor that you like best. But Zevia, follow them on social media, as well as the Farmer's Dog, the official dog food for Sophie and Little Guy. Real food for real pets. And I'm just making this stuff as I go along, but it is unbelievable food, guys. I switched them to it earlier this year. Yes, it's more expensive than regular dog food, but it is also real food, and it has all the micronutrients your dogs need. It's very, very simple. They come delivered on ice overnight. Each package, I just split it in half for each dogs because they consume the same amount of calories, but they each have their own food, Sophie and Little Guy, which I just share their food back and forth because they're on the same caloric intake anyways with that. But the Farmer's Dog, guys, you could also follow them on Twitter and Instagram. And Trupanion, the pet insurance that I use for Sophie and Little Guy, they have come through. They have had Sophie's back literally and figuratively from the beginning. Even if you don't use Trupanion and you have a pet and you love your pet, which I assume we all do, to me, they're the most important things in the world. Check out Trupanion, guys. They have very affordable rates for your pets. And for this situation, like Sophie just ruptured her disc in her neck. She's doing amazing. This was over $7,000. So with Trupanion, I only pay 10%, and which is a hell of a lot better than having to pay that. And if I had not had that for everything that we had medically with her, it's been well over $100,000 in 2.5 years. So you can imagine, I'm very blessed and very grateful. But having pet insurance for the right situations at a very, very small rate is well worth looking into. Follow me on social media. I'm Ryback on Twitter, the big guy, Ryback22 on Instagram and TikTok, at the Ryback Show, at Feed Me More Nutrition, and at Ryback TV on YouTube, Snapchat, Ryback247. Guys, you can follow me here, YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications, Ryback TV. I am live on Twitch as well, Ryback Rules on Twitch. I will be streaming more here as I free up a little more time moving forward, but we are going really, really hard and with everything going on with Sophie right now. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I believe our guests have arrived. I'm going to bring them into the show and enjoy the conversation. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you mind actually if I get us going live on my Instagram as well?
Absolutely. I actually have my phone right here too. So do you need me to, do I need to be on there too for that?
Yeah, you just gotta, hold on. So I'm going to go live now and
Okay.
And then
Gotcha.
Join. Hi everyone. So I'm here with Austin and we're going to get Ryback on the call as well.
I'm just turning this down. Am I live with you now? I got a request to join.
And I just need him to request to join. There we go. Perfect.
Double dipping at its finest. All right.
Oh, hold on.
Thank you guys all for joining us, though, with Sarah Brandow and Austin Aries. Oh, man, what a morning.
Oh, all right, we got it.
Okay.
Technology.
I'll let you go ahead and do your intro for you because on the Ryback Show, we can do anything, so.
Yeah, sure. So, okay, if any of you guys listened to our podcast that we did with Ryback a few weeks ago, he has gone through an amazing journey of plant-based transitions, living the vegan life, becoming the most jacked vegan on the planet. And we talked about some strategies to, maintain muscle mass, but also make sure that he's getting all those micros for energy. So yeah, I would love to share with everybody how that's been going for you.
Yeah, no, I feel absolutely amazing. Are we getting an echo too on this?
We're not here because we turned down one of the feeds, so
yeah,
we're good.
We muted on our end.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Maybe it's on my.
You can probably mute your Instagram live feed, and then you won't get any feedback.
Yeah, I'm just making sure it's figured out. Testing. All right, we'll give it a shot. I feel amazing right now. This is by far the best that I've felt. And yesterday doing a video, I dubbed myself the most jacked vegan on the planet, and just like that, I became the best at something. So
there you go.
No, but it's I really appreciate you guys with the micronutrient timing. Made a drastic difference.
Yeah, so just to elaborate on that, in case anyone doesn't know what we're talking about. So when I went over to Ryback's house before we started the last podcast, he was talking about how he, had some energy dips, low energy, things like that. And, there was a big Starbucks stack of coffee cups lying around. And I kind of said, okay, so when you're taking all these like healthy greens and all these nutritious foods, how soon after are you having all that caffeine? And just by timing these things, micronutrients from raw greens on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, that is going to maximize absorption. And that is going to really give you that energy, real energy, not the fake kind from coffee, that'll carry you through the day. And combining these things can lead to absorption issues, especially with iron is what we're seeing.
Yeah, and that was one thing. I was consuming my caffeine first thing in the morning and then taking all my micros and minerals with it. And I was experiencing, because I was being vegetarian primarily, and experiencing, I swear that echo, I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. Hold on. When you're talking, there's no echo. When I'm talking, I hear a massive echo. Let me find, are the listeners out there, do you guys hear a double echo on the conversation? We'll see. Yeah, they're hearing a double echo. I wonder, is there any way on the sound on yours, if you just turn it down, is it all the way down and they can still hear you?
So I only have you coming through the IG Live. I completely muted the laptop.
I think it's the IG Live, I think, is picking up on both. I don't know why. Because I have mine all the way, just my sound all the way down. As long as you can hear me, keep the laptop on, and I would mute the IG maybe. We'll see if that fixes the sound.
How do I mute from my phone?
Or if you just turn it all the way down, and then so you can't hear, but we can hear through the laptop.
All right, let's try this.
Testing.
Okay, testing. Is this better?
Let me see. I think that is better.
Is it? Okay.
We're good?
Good?
We're going to test it and see.
No echoes?
It's better than it was, so we're going to have to make do. We everything's on the fly here, so we're
okay. If we can't, I can shut off the IG Live and I can just post the Ryback Show for everybody later as well if we're still getting that feedback. So
yeah, no, I think we should be good.
Okay.
We're good now.
We're good.
Yeah, perfect. So I apologize, everybody. This is live, so we're working through things. I feel bad for you guys. The 2 times I've had you on, we have sound complications.
All right. That's one of the most. That's why we got to keep coming back.
Yep.
Yeah, just every week we're just going to keep revisiting this. But getting the micronutrient timing down was key, because vegetarian, I did it for the better part of this year. And I say vegetarian, we're still doing my cheat meals for Ryback TV. Then after having you on, that was the aha moment where, because I'm doing all these things right. I have my whole food multivitamin, my zinc, my greens, my whole food iron supplement, my oral B12 supplement. And I felt good early on. And then as time went on, I have such high energy usually, and it started noticing fatigue in the day. And I go, this just doesn't make sense. And then when you said that, I go, that I got to try it. And almost instantly. And in just the longer I've done it, then I go, I'm going to just switch off a vegetarian. I'm going to go all the way and just everything, full vegan. And I'm just going to see, because then when you talked about expanding on the diet, chia seeds, nutritional yeast, I got pumpkin seeds, mixed nuts, my flaxseed oil, my MCT coconut oil on that, my chickpeas, lentils, everything, and the protein pasta. I found an awesome plant-based protein, which they're working on those right now. And I was like, getting the protein's not an issue anymore. And then you also, when you actually look at it and I break it down, I go, and this is how I've always thought, but life is energy, food is energy. And if we just solely look at it from that standpoint and from a health standpoint, I want to be, and as an athlete and performer, and just as a human, why wouldn't I want to be functioning at my best? And exactly. And then you talk about inflammation on these things, and I start looking into that, and I start looking from a micronutrient standpoint, that if our micronutrients become a priority over the macros even, and macros are very important still, but if we look at from an energy standpoint solely, And me actually doing it and experiencing it, like my energy levels just keep going up more and more and more. And I have not done an animal product in it's been 3 weeks and I think 3 days now. So yeah, where I thought I was going to still maybe do the Ryback TV. I was like, maybe I'll do it every other week just to get the video because people like the junk food. And then I was like, I feel so good right now. I don't.
Tons of vegan junk food.
There is tons,
right?
way too much.
I saw some of the videos, right? You can still indulge if you want and not get the animal products.
Yeah, when you actually realize it's there's so many options, but also too in doing a 24-hour prolonged fast every week, sometimes 36 hours, and like the cravings just go away, and that's happened progressively for me over the years. But when your view on food changes, and then you actually experience the benefits, it makes it really, really hard to want to go against that. And like even yesterday, my conditioning, and I'm on my assault bike out there, and yesterday was a hectic day, and it's like I got to get out there and get my 4 or 5 rounds on the assault bike in, which are 8 actual sets on each round for 20 seconds as hard as you can, 10 seconds off. I did my 4 rounds. I kid you not even remotely fatigued, like not blown up, and like there's something I notice results on things pretty quickly, and my energy. Like I get up at 5 something every morning and I go tonight, it just keeps climbing through the day. And I have my caffeine still, but I'm like, this is unbelievable.
There's something to it. A big problem in the fitness world as well is that there's all this emphasis on macros because everyone's focusing on shaping their body, often at the expense of their insides, which is why you see a lot of chronic health conditions in very, very young adults who've been in the fitness industry for a long amount of time. They've chosen physique and appearance over what's on the inside. And there is still the ability to incorporate caffeine into your diet if you're just smart about it, even to reduce. I'm drinking a tea Cheeto right now. I'm not affiliated with this company in any way, but if they want to send me some, I'll take them. This is, it's just like different, it's like chicory root, dandelion. It's like different plants that somehow they roast and come together, and it tastes kind of like coffee. You can put a little bit of, whatever milk you like in there, whatever you like to sweeten. And you kind of get that natural energy burst instead of that caffeine energy, which is just energy leaving your body. So, this is a good way to have something if you have that sort of craving, but you've just eaten a lot of nutritious food and you don't want to block any nutrient absorption.
Too, the other thing, and like yesterday I was doing a video, and now I'm like finding all these sweet vegan spots because like I'm looking for them now. Whereas like when you're not looking, like, we're like, what am I? Well, I'm gonna have to do another Impossible Burger video today. Now I'm like, there's all these amazing vegan restaurants or just healthy restaurants. But the longer you start looking at these foods and eating them, and like yesterday, I got these plant-powered Caesar wraps, and they had like little cranberry chunks in them, and they were so delicious. And it's like I don't eat cranberries hardly ever, but they were just sweet enough. But when you eat these foods, they actually even taste better over time because you get away from eating all the junk.
Yes, we're not saying you are what you eat. What you actually are is what comprises your microbiome. All those, trillions of tiny bacteria that comprise who we are. And so what foods you crave, what foods you think, make you feel good and full is all related to whatever your gut is craving. So we're actually run by the bugs in our body. And so by changing your microbiome so that your body is used to getting fuel from real food, and it starts to realize that, I can function better without digesting all these heavy foods, and, by getting rid of all these addictions to sugar, meat, processed foods, that's what your body starts to crave. But it's about breaking that addiction first and changing it. And that's where a lot of people go wrong, because they say, I listened to my body, I was craving meat, not realizing, what they're actually going through. And that in this transition, when we're changing our gut bacteria, there's going to be some bacteria that don't want to die. All these pathogenic bacteria, they want to propagate, they want to live. They don't want you to wipe them out with all these, very, very oxygenating raw plant-based foods. So there's going to be an internal battle, but it's worth it.
As far as greens formulas work too, because I have a greens formula that I always use, and they got a probiotic blend in there as well. For a lot of people on that, like, what are the benefits? Because on there, you don't necessarily see all the different vegetables and the different things they have in there. But what is, and I would imagine it's for the probiotics as well. What is the primary reason for adding a greens formula into your diet?
So basically, there's a few aspects to this that I like to talk about because I'm really, really big on adding raw dehydrated superfoods to my diet. And people say, can I get everything from food? Unfortunately, we have some multifaceted issues with our current food system that make it a very, very good idea to supplement with high quality products. So the first one being food transport. Once the food is picked, within the first 3 to 5 days of transport, it's losing about 30% of its nutrients right off the bat. Then on top of that, by the time you actually purchase it from the grocery store, you're probably at about a 50% nutrient loss, if not more. Yep. And to begin with, our soils are largely sterile. One of my favorite documentaries, The Need to Grow, talks about this a lot. And what we found is that these soils that are, the microbes that literally are supposed to be creating food that is super nutritious and super healthy and nourishing us, they're just not there because of agricultural farming methods. We've used pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, way right? Too much. And the quality, it's not there.
And I just read that book, Wash, after you guys were on. I believe it's called Whitewash or Whitewashed, but it talks about the glyphosate problem that I know you brought up the word because I couldn't pronounce it earlier. And I've had to say it over and over and over again, but you hear about it. And I always heard about it. And then I just never really, you're just like, oh, whatever. And then I listened to that book 2 times and I'm like, oh man, this stuff is really, really bad. It clearly isn't good what it's doing to the agriculture and the farming and what it's doing with weeds and how they're having to use more and more and more of it. And I go, clearly that we're not meant to be consuming this. And so now I'm making sure everything I'm ordering is organic or buying is organic on that. But a lot of people I know, and I hear the word organic and I just feel like that should be just normal.
Right.
It's a return to tradition that's marketed as something new. And also supporting organic farmers, even though you're paying a little bit more, you're supporting the resistance. You're supporting those farmers who are fighting to keep our soils healthy and to not have all these important microbes that create human life completely wiped out. And so, if you want to set up a conventional farm as a farmer, you can get, government subsidies to do that. You want to set up an organic farm, and now you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars out of pocket, plus all the constant recertification. So it's not easy for these farmers, and they're doing it anyway because they have conviction about what is right. And so I really encourage everyone, if you don't like what's going on in our food system, put your money where your mouth is.
It's the most important vote that we have. Everyone talks about voting right now in the presidential season, but every time we pay for something, we're voting that it's okay. So if you put your money behind things like organic, good food, quality foods, then that slowly is going to change the system because ultimately they still want our money.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And that, I was thinking about that the other day, Austin, when I was driving. I go, if all we could do is we're all on our own journey. And once you kind of start going down that path, and we talked about this last year when you came on, and I think in reading your book too, Food Fight, how it kind of you start off on this process and you might fall back off of it. You might, there's different levels. But then once you start learning and about the factory farming and the different things, and then you start experiencing the benefits, you just start. For me, it's been not even a year. It'll be a year in December of just learning more and more and more, and just seeing the way that things are. And it's I don't want to go back to that. I want to keep getting better. But it's the demand. I go. So from an individual standpoint, I'll never tell anybody how to eat. All I'll do is share my results, and I've tried many different ways of eating on that. But as a consumer, essentially, if we're not buying all the Cokes and all the fries and all the burgers all the time, businesses are going to adjust to meet our needs because at the end of the day, their goal is to make as much money as possible. Sure. And it's easy to say, well, and I always talk about selling for good and selling for bad. I think selling for good, is the ideal thing we want all across the world. Unfortunately, that's not the way that the world works. So it comes up to us as individuals to just make whatever the best choice is for us. And if we do that on a large enough scale, they will adjust.
Yes, they have to. It's unfortunate that there's so many, good people in the world who are pushing for legislative change to try and make foods more affordable, to try and change agricultural practices, to try and move these toxic, GMO pesticides like glyphosate out of the food system. And they're just met with so much resistance because the consumers don't seem to care and the money still flows. And, it's very difficult. Not everybody has the luxury of making that choice. Some people live in food deserts. Some people have very limited choices. So for anyone who does have that choice, to spend a few extra dollars to support the people who are doing good, please do. That's how we really make a difference in this world.
It's also spending a few extra dollars invested in yourself and your long-term health and well-being. And I think we're so easily we'll spend money on a lot of frivolous things, again, iPhones or clothes or cars, but it seems when it comes to investing in ourselves on food, that's where people want to cut a corner, and that's the last corner you should be cutting.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. And I will say, and like we talked about it before, and unfortunately in this world, even though it is possible to eat healthier and on a budget, and it is still, I think it does take more planning and with the way that the world is, it's definitely not the easiest choice. But like as far as eating out, like I will say, it definitely with the restaurants, and they got to make a profit, and it's some of the options are more expensive. But if you cook from home, there is a way to do it at an affordable cost and eat healthy and eat the right way with that. It's just it does definitely take more planning, and again, it's the most important thing in our life at the end of the day. And I stress this on every show that I do. Life is energy, food is energy. If we fix our food, we fix our mood, which will literally trickle down to all these other areas of our life. That if we're having problems at the end of the day, and I hear people too, they go, I lack motivation. And the first thing I think of it when you lack motivation is that you probably lack energy. And if you lack energy, that means we spiderweb this and we break it down, that you probably are not putting in the right fuel into your body one way, shape, or form. And then if we address that and we start making adjustments on that, and then the energy starts improving, I tell people I got energy through the roof when I'm firing on all cylinders. It's really hard not to want to do anything. Like I have to be working or doing something productive. And I think for a lot of people, they're like, well, I just don't have the motivation to the drive. And it's energy, guys, and it's food, and it's the most basic thing that we had. Like we had it right to begin with, and we got to take a look in the mirror that if we have problems or we're not happy about something, that there's a good chance it's about what we're putting in our body.
And that's something we all control. At the end of the day, nobody forces us to consume things when it comes to that standpoint. And I think the skill set of actually knowing how to, find your way around a kitchen and make some very basic food items is something we all should have. It's something we should all be being taught. Same with being able to grow your own food, but these aren't skill sets that we're given. So it is on us to kind of go and teach ourselves in a lot of ways, or seek out other people that can help teach us that. And once you have some of those very basic skills, you find it doesn't have to be expensive to eat healthy. It doesn't have to be difficult. Soaking beans and cooking them, or lentil pasta. Like these things aren't brain surgery, right?
No.
If you've never done it, it can be a little intimidating. So, I encourage everyone to go out and at your own pace start to acquire that skill set, because you're going to find it's a way to save money and really start controlling what you're consuming.
And when you guys were on the show last time, and even for me, and it is overwhelming in a way when you're not used to it, because I think, and I come from we talk about convenience, and we talk about in the fitness industry and the health industry, unfortunately, what a lot of people associate with it is when they hear the word is protein, chicken, beef, steak, wild game, whatever that may be. That's like you need that. And so that's what people are getting and they're focusing on, when in reality, though, there's so many nutritious foods out there. Like I mentioned earlier, and I remember I wrote them down when you were giving me the foods that have good protein sources, good omega fats, and different things. And I'm just like, I can't remember this. This is overwhelming. And then I just started buying it. I go, okay, that, I get that. And all of a sudden my diet is way more diverse than it's ever been. I'm sprinkling my chia seeds on my meals 2-3 times a day. My nutritional yeast, which has 8 grams of protein and 2 scoops and no fat and in low carbs. I'm like, this is amazing. This is so easy, hitting 40, 50, 60 grams of protein easily on my meals. And then the plant-based protein shakes, I go, this is a breeze once you're doing it.
You talk about diversity, and I always think about, when we're on the road, and this, it's like Waffle House or Longhorn Steakhouse. And that's like the only 2 places the guys want to go to eat.
Yeah.
And, for me, a lot of the fun I would have on the road is I would travel by myself a lot, because I'm going to go seek out the cafe that's got vegan options or go to Whole Foods. And you start eating all these different foods. Again, I love Indian food and Ethiopian food. And those weren't things I was, raised on eating that I may never have experienced, that I just stuck to that standard American diet. So, you said as you're doing your show now and you're trying to do these eating blogs, like you're seeking out different places you probably would have never seeked out had you not made the transition.
And
Also,
delicious food.
Yeah. So when you're on the run, there's a really good app called Happy Cow in the App Store. So this will actually, based on your geographic location, give you a list of all the vegan restaurants nearby or places with vegan options. So that's a really good one. It's just called Happy Cow.
Yep.
This is a funny comment. I'm going to pull this up real quick. Zachary says, Sarah, I just threw away all of my bacon for you.
Thank you, Zachary. I appreciate that.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah. I did get, we did, is that Austin Aries? And yes. Another thing too, I was going to mention on the eating out in the videos, a good thing is I was able to hire an outside company for my Ryback TV, and my videos are starting to be, my channel's popping again really, really nicely. And the vegan food videos are doing they're some of my top videos now that are going out because people are finding my content again. But the good thing is it's not boring food. There's, vegan pizzas and burritos and just all sorts of delicious things.
And you get really, really bad as a vegan too. And we've been talking about this previously, like just because it's plant-based doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy.
Yeah.
Process is processed. And, there's a lot of ways to indulge and still stay within that parameter.
There is. And just finding, I think once you make the switch though, and like for me, you're looking for it, and whatever your mind is looking for, you will find. And it's like the law of attraction, and where it's like before I was like, oh, there's definitely probably not that many vegan places. I'm like, oh my God, there's places everywhere because my other choices are no longer an option to me. And it's, you just got to look for it. And it could be a slow process, but I think once you start, it's such a cool journey. And I think for me, I'm really excited because I think looking the way that I look, I could definitely help people. Like if Ryback is nearly 300 pounds in doing this, maybe we didn't have the right idea on this to begin with. So, and it's again, from a micronutrient, I'm not even worried anymore about my carbohydrate intake. Like last night I had 3 black bean burgers that had probably close to 90 grams of carbs and maybe 35 grams of protein, which normally protein would have been wanted that 90 grams and my carbs at 30. And I'm like, nope. And my metabolism is increasing doing this because my body is just running optimally now. And the longer you do it, the better it gets. So.
Absolutely. And also for athletes too, there's that competitive edge. The quicker you recover, the quicker you get back out there to improve, to lift more. And so when people are lowering this inflammation in their body, they're going to be able to get back out there quicker and really, really improve. So, that's not really given enough merit in the fitness world too. Everyone's just looking at, bulking as quick as possible. But on that note too, clinical studies have shown that, the amount of protein is what matters. The source doesn't matter. There is no difference between a plant or an animal-based protein, except for the fact that one comes with inflammation and the other one doesn't.
That is a great segue into my next thing I wanted to talk to you about is because I told Austin, I go, the main thing that I really too saw with this, with all the other benefits and the energy, is every morning I would wake up, my back was, with all my back injuries and then even with the stem cells, I would always have muscle soreness in the morning and have to ice my back every morning. And then my back, the inflammation would go down and I'd be fine and I'm able to do everything. But I was always like, I wonder why I have this morning pain. And I got a really good bed, but I go, maybe it's just whatever. I don't know what it is, but I deal with it. It's not debilitating anymore like it used to be. It's gone down, so I'm improved. And then when I've done this, I don't know, about around the first 1.5 weeks, maybe around the 2-week mark, I just stopped having back pain in the morning. And I noticed with all the shoulder work that I've been getting every week, my shoulder just keeps getting better. And then I don't stretch a lot anymore. I do active warm-ups before I work out. But I noticed my flexibility without doing a lot of stretching stuff has improved. And I go, how's this even possible? And I go, it's the inflammation that when your body, this goes down, you start healing and you just start getting better. And even arthritic pain that I would have sometimes with my shoulder is decreased tremendously. And that's another reason why I'm kind of don't want to go back to eating meat at all, because I'm seeing firsthand. I go, I don't want to impede this progress of feeling better than I have since I left WWE with all my injuries and like this inflammation. But a lot of people, I was never aware of this. Is it in meat and dairy that solely that were the inflammation markers in the food?
Those are the primary inflammatory foods. So just to get everybody on my Instagram a background too. So Austin and I work together at BioAccelerator, and I created the anti-inflammatory meal plan. So this meal plan is designed to help people lower the inflammation in their body to give these new cells the best chance at propagating and thriving. Simple as that. And what we need to do to lower inflammation in the body is just cut out all inflammatory foods. So the big ones being meat, dairy, eggs. So, and a lot of people think, like, I don't drink milk, not realizing there's cheese probably sprinkled on everything they eat. On top of that, then we'd be looking at, caffeine can slow wound healing. So I want everybody off coffee leading up to the procedure.
Yep.
Another big one is processed foods, deep fried foods, high amounts of sugar, and hydrogenated oils. So those are like the big inflammatory foods. However, if you don't have the animal products coming in, your body can handle the other stuff a little bit better, but it can't handle all of it. That's why the disease rate in North America is just skyrocketing.
Now, when you say coffee, is it caffeine in general or caffeine from coffee?
So caffeine in general, the source matters for sure. Coffee is the most inflammatory because it's very, very acidic. Also, it has the most pesticides, the most fungicides. So if you have something like matcha tea, pardon?
I never even thought of that with the coffee. Is that like buying coffee, organic coffee, probably then better than regular coffee?
Coffee is one of the most pesticide-laden crops on the planet. So, and with coffee, you want it to be fair trade as well. You don't want workers being exploited for your coffee. Coffee and chocolate are very similar. They're very high in pesticides. They're very high in environmental and ethical costs as well, based on where it's come from. So that's an example of when it would be really good to just spend a little bit more and get the organic stuff. It's going to be much better for your body.
Can I ask you this? Oh, go ahead, Austin. I'm sorry.
Say again, like transition into other beverages, like teas, or then the teachino.
Yeah.
You kind of keep that habit that you have. You just replace it with a new beverage. I've been doing that actually at night. I've been a wine drinker for a while, and I've been trying to curb off of that. So now at night I use tart cherry juice with some water as kind of my glass of red wine before bed, 30 minutes before. And again, it's just you kind of keep that habit. We're creatures of habit, but when you can switch out one thing that's a little better than the previous, you're making those incremental changes that matter.
Yeah,
absolutely. Is there for coffee drinkers out there? Are there like if I go to Starbucks and I get my black coffee, my venti large black coffee, does Starbucks are there places that have organic coffee like that available?
There are, but not Starbucks, unfortunately.
Not Starbucks, right?
Chains. You would kind of have to do some digging into smaller, like local roasteries and see who has something organic. But yeah, the best thing obviously is to get it from home. But at the same time, the routine of going somewhere and getting a nice latte is also kind of ingrained. So, when I made the switch, I looked for places that had matcha green tea lattes. So those still have caffeine, but they have L-theanine in it, which balances out the caffeine so you don't get that crash. It's more of a stable energy and also very high antioxidant without the acidity paired with it.
I just trick myself. I collect the Starbucks cups and keep them for like when I do my decaf at home as well. So maybe I'll just stock up, I'll make a trip there once a week. Can I get 7 cups, please? And then take the cups to the other place. That's how my brain works. And I think I'm drinking my Starbucks coffee. Sure. So what's going on with you now, Sarah, with everything? I heard there's a big announcement. What was this?
Okay, so we did a launch today.
Yes.
My company in Los Angeles, Vita Bowl. So, we've been doing these very healthy, plant-based, nutritious bowls. People will be able to order them to their homes soon as well. But we launched Vita Bites. So this was a product I created because our food can't really leave California at this time. Everything is so organic and so pure and so fresh that unfortunately it's going to start to break down after, 5 days. But with the Bites, these are tiny little cookie dough balls, actually. So very simple ingredients, sunflower butter so that they're completely nut-free. They're sweetened with monk fruit. I have sugar-free monk fruit chocolate chips in there, some vanilla extract, and then just a natural pea protein. So very simple, 6 grams of protein and about 110 calories per bite. Very filling, really good for sugar cravings. We designed them this way as well so they're approved by the Autism Hope Alliance because of the monk fruit. They are diabetic approved, so plant-based, also keto for all you crazy keto people.
So and basically, so we launched the campaign. I'm an investor in the company, Vita Bowl, and on the advisory board. So we launched the Indiegogo campaign for the Vita Bites, for people can pre-order before the actual launch, get a nice discount, early bird special, and the more you order, the more the discount is. We've got corporate packages, so maybe we'll give you a link you can throw up somewhere, and anyone who's interested. And here's the nice thing about these: we can ship them anywhere. So and they're going to be good, good for at least 30 days, so you have some shelf life to them as well. But again, and like we're traveling a lot, we're busy. We talk about the convenience factor. Having something that's made of simple ingredients, no real added sugars, that's going to give you a decent amount of protein. It's going to fill you up, and you can just have them on the go. That was for me something that really piqued my interest and something I wanted to get behind.
No preservatives at all, too, which is big. All of these, tiny, tiny amounts of preservatives in all the food we eat, where we're like, oh, it's less than 1% of ingredients. It's less than 2%. If that's in everything you eat, that's bioaccumulating in your body, just like, glyphosate, these other pesticides. So it's just about returning to nature and simplicity as much as possible.
And what is the website for that? And I will actually get a link from you guys after the show. And I will put that into the description of the comments for everybody here listening so they know exactly. But where is that website again for that?
So all of our pre-orders are going through Indiegogo. So it would just be indiegogo.com/VitaBites. But I will send you the link as well, and people can just click right on it. And I'd love to get everybody's feedback. When you order some, you try them, let me know what you think.
I would love
Vita Bowl on Instagram if you want to follow the page there too.
Vita Bowl on Instagram, very good. I would love to do. I need to try these. I want to do a Ryback TV video. How many Vita Bites I can eat in 10 minutes?
I'll join you. How many Vita Bites can we eat?
Austin, we need to do that challenge together. Who can eat the most Vita Bites in 10 minutes?
My money's on Sarah, frankly.
I'm a good eater.
Yeah,
I'm a good eater. Thank you.
I say that.
I like food.
People love the eating challenges. People love those.
I know. I'm going to start doing that actually with, healthy vegan food. How much mac and cheese I'd win that one. I'd win the mac and cheese eating contest, gluten-free. I'd win.
People, it's such a great way. I get a lot of comments now. People, they love seeing it because it gives them ideas on what to eat. And it's again, and it comes down to when I'm doing these challenges and on the channel, it was like, well, it all started was I just wanted people to know me and for entertainment and inspiration is the main purpose of the channel on that. And then it got kind of where you see these other people doing like crazy things and doing all these eating things. And I go, now, okay, that can get me more views. But at the same time, now we're dealing with health. Like, I don't want to be like throwing away all my progress and to do these. And then also there is people see me doing this and the way that it is. And as if we're on TV or they look up to you, then they might think it's okay to eat like that as well, even though I'm not eating like that 99% of the time, but I am consistently eating like that on my YouTube. And then it's like, I don't need to do that anymore. And I'm happy to actually get away from it. And not to say that I'll never, ever again, but I don't want it. Like, I really am so happy away from it. And people, I think doing stuff like that and showing them good examples of what you can do and still have fun and live life and you're going to feel better. And it's not going to, eating that stuff, it just makes you feel like crap.
Once you make that transition as you have, and you start putting that effort in, you start seeing the results. Yeah. It's really hard to justify, like you said, going backwards or to compromise that for some views, because there's, like I said, there's plenty of new things you can eat and expose your followers to and still stuff your face, and have it be entertaining.
Exactly. And then there's not as many people doing that look like me on YouTube. So it's just like what comes down to like retagging of vegan stuff where audiences, it actually can bring in a whole new audience for me, which it slowly is.
Right. And
people. So it's been such a positive
experience. You stick with this for a while. You'll be huge in the vegan community, maintaining your size over the next couple of years, staying, strictly on plant-based products and showing people you're not going to wither down to 225 or 205.
Yeah, and, God forbid. This guy doesn't know any moves.
Yeah, right.
And he lost all his power.
Endurance.
Well, I said yesterday, I go, I'm the Michael Jordan of vegans now for being in the jacked vegan world.
Yeah.
That granted, it's very, very early, but I told all the viewers, I go, you're very early to the party, but no, I feel so good on it, and I can't thank you guys enough. Honestly, have helped so much.
Awesome.
And Austin, you came last year, and I was like, not once, and I was like, I could talk about anything, but I was like, that's one thing I haven't tried. And this book is pretty good, and it's pretty, it's really hard to argue. And I go, I haven't tried it, so I have to try it before I can have an opinion on it. And then I was like, it just led me down a path. So I do want to. So thank you guys.
Dude. I mean, that speaks to you being open-minded and being willing to be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a big problem with a lot of people, is especially right now, is people have a problem being wrong. Even if they're given evidence and statistics and facts in front of them, they still want to just kind of put their fingers in their ears and shake their head no. And so I love to be wrong, because it means I learned something new, and I'm a better person for it. So I encourage everybody to keep that open mind and make the journey your own. You don't have to dive right in, but be open to change and be open to that. Some of the things we've been taught and we've learned weren't in our best interest.
Are there any good books? Because I was reading online, like, I want to learn more about the history of food, and because I know in like with big businesses, and I know you touched on it before when we talked a little bit, but because I was reading something also about because I'll hear people oftentimes even mention this, but like as we evolved, though, our brains changed because humans started consuming more meat, which was more calorie dense food, was one of the articles I was reading. I was looking for a book though on food, which they said though that would have happened with any calorie dense food. It just, if they said in that article, it said it just so happened to be meat. It was actually a pro-vegan article that I was reading, but it was discussing that. And I don't know what information is factual or not. I'm just looking. Are there any good books on the history of food for the people listening?
I don't know about on the history of food. There's really good books that talk about the science of food as it is today. So Proteinaholic, How Not to Die. But actually what you spoke about meat being responsible for the advancement of the human species and, the evolution of the human brain, that's actually a myth that has been debunked. Quick Google search, anyone can see this. Just look up starchy carbs and the evolution of the human brain. It was actually starchy carbs, more similar to a modern sweet potato, and the consumption of these foods on a larger basis that actually helped humans evolve, which makes sense because our brain runs on glycogen, glucose, carbs. We're carb eaters.
Plus, we can catch sweet potatoes, and a lot of these animals we think couldn't really catch them. For being honest, right? We're not really hunters in that context.
Yeah, no, but for me, that's like it's going down that path of learning and seeing, because you hear the people like, we're meant to eat meat, we're meant to eat chicken. They're hell bent on it, and like again, this is coming from a guy. My theme song in wrestling was "Meat on the Table." Meat hook close. Like, my entire existence revolved around meat. Like it's Brandy Rhodes, Cody Rhodes' wife. I'll never forget this. Cody came up to me at TV one day, and me and Cody have always been friends and gotten along and lived together for a brief period in developmental. And Brandy, I don't know if it was one of the first times she met me at TV, or we had a conversation like in catering, and she went back and told Cody, she goes, "I love Ryback, but he smells like meat." And Cody came up to me just hysterically laughing, and he was just like, Brandy really likes you, but she just wanted me to let you know you reek of meat today.
It's really true though, like it does permeate out of our pores, and there's a definite difference between people who don't consume animal products and those who do when it comes to odors and all these other things, right? So
look up keto crotch.
Yeah, keto crotch.
Anyone who doesn't know what keto crotch is, just spend 5 minutes on the internet looking that up, and that should tell you, what our diet is and isn't supposed to be. Now, we can argue, whether or not people are supposed to eat meat at all, but ultimately, even if someone says, I absolutely need to eat meat, okay, how much? So how many times do you need to eat meat? 3 times a day? Every single day?
Where are you sourcing it from?
Exactly.
Where are you getting it from? What's your meat eating?
Yeah, that's a big one too.
Yeah, which is too. That's where the whole. And again, there are differences and things like that. And like again, the factory farming. When people and reading some different books on it and seeing. And I think if we were to take the majority of humans and sit them down and make them actually watch what's going on, it would be a very rude, disturbing wake up call for a lot of us. and reading like what the pigs, and we have our pets and our animals, and pigs are very intelligent, very much like dog, more intelligent than dogs, I believe, even, or very close to it. That what we're doing to them and dumping them in scalding hot water while still alive regularly, after, or slitting their throats or cutting their noses off, whatever. And you just read this and you watch it and you just go, what the hell are we doing? Like, why? And again, self-accountability and our own choices we make. If more of us are not consuming that stuff as much or at all, these businesses are going to be forced to just change to keep income coming in, which is what they will do. So I do think talking about it and raising awareness of how good it is, but there's many different levels of why people choose to go vegan, I think. But that, for me, it's a combination of everything, of health, being health-oriented, performance. I told people yesterday, I want to be better. I'm competitive. I want an advantage over the people I'm competing against. I want to be 300 pounds and have the best cardio. I work really, really hard. Why wouldn't I want my diet to contribute to that? So there's a multitude of reasons. I feel that once you start looking into this, I think individually people will have the reasons they resonate with the most. But the factory farming, to me, is really, really the main issue. And not whatever food choices you make. I think once you start looking at it, it will play an impact on how your brain processes things, and in the end.
You touched on like the energy of food as well, which is a big one, and the energy of animal products that came from animals that were living these horrible lives in terrible conditions and also killed in such a brutal way, watching every other animal get killed the lineup before them. These bodies are full of cortisol. And so when you take that in, energy can be transferred, not destroyed. Where do you think that cortisol is going? It's going into you. And that's something that, and ironically enough, in addition to this cortisol and all this protein, this is actually lowering testosterone in men. And men think that animal products are raising it, but they're full of estrogen. So the opposite's happening.
And then, as we've touched on, clogged arteries, reduced blood flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Which is one of the most common things going on right now. And it's just in the world, there's all these health issues that we didn't have at this level before. And to me, it's just like common sense. You're like, well, what's different?
We've been told to think that we then need to look at pharmaceuticals to solve these problems instead of the food that created these problems to begin with, And we just got to change that. We got to change that mindset. It all starts with the things we consume, and a pill is not going to solve something that we acquired through bad eating habits.
Well, there's also a reason why, the biggest pharmaceutical company in the world, Bayer, bought the biggest GMO food company in the world, Monsanto. There's a reason why that merger happened. And I actually couldn't believe it happened because everyone was crying conflict of interest. But at the end of the day, money talks. And so there's an obvious conflict of interest there where most of our GMO foods are from Monsanto seeds. Yeah. We don't know what these are doing to us in the long run. We've got a pretty good idea, though, and it looks like kidney issues, infertility, and cancer. And then they get to sell us the drugs to solve the problem that their food created. It's sickening.
Yeah, and reading about that in that book, Whitewashed, it's upset. You get mad. You're like, I'm not going to let this happen to me. And like, it comes with, you got to learning, and knowledge is power. And you have to keep an open mind and be willing to say, look, our parents didn't mean to hurt us. Their parents didn't mean to hurt them. Everyone's just trying to do what they think is best. But I think when you have a closed-minded and you stop learning, that's where we get in trouble. And you stop questioning things that we start getting in trouble. And again, the big thing too with me, I've noticed in going on a month almost, is my mood keeps improving even more and more. I somehow am getting more and more positive, where like I want to do even more, and I'm already motivated as it is. And I'm just seeing this like, no, I'm not. I can do more, and I feel better. I want to help people like feel better. I honestly believe it's when you just shift away from that diet, you just get on a better track and you want to stay on it. And it just keeps, for me, it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. So
yeah. Think how great it's going to be when you come back down to Columbia and get these next round of bioaccelerator stem cells. You're going to be coming down there in a whole different, condition, walking in there and walking out with a different mindset, right?
I can't wait. This is because I went down there and I was so bad. Like I'm watching Nick Bestis down there right now, one of the world's strongest men, and a great, great human being, and from the history of the World's Strongest Man show. And I'm looking at him; he's going and exploring different things. And everybody I've seen that goes down there was exploring the town. And I go, man, I was so screwed up when I was there. I sat in my room, and me and Kevin Nash, we did the podcast, and we went and ate in the mall there. But I didn't want to go do anything. All I cared about was getting the treatment because I just wanted to feel better. And I just and I was still in a lot of pain. And where now I feel so good. I was like, I can't wait to get down there and actually go and do stuff and record content and go explore. Yeah. And again, it goes back even to WWE. I was so hurt the whole time I was there because this stuff started pretty quickly for me, unfortunately, and it just kept escalating. And you just keep going, and it's just survive the show, survive the show, survive the week, survive the month, survive the year. And I never explored. I never did anything. I'd go stretch and work out. The arenas, the hotels, it was Groundhog's Day, and it was not enjoyable for me at all outside of the adrenaline rush I would get performing. Outside of that, it was a miserable experience. But the reason it was a miserable experience was because the pain I was in. And I was just trying to do whatever I could to just try to get through the day and survive. Whereas now, and I've been home and I've stayed home and I had to do everything here. My mind all of a sudden now is like, I want to go do more. I want to go explore. I want to go do things. I want to go see things because I have so much energy and I feel good. And I'm like, this is entirely different than the last 8 years of my life. And where I was like, man, I could work really hard and still do stuff because I'm not having to worry about being in such pain. So I can't wait to get down there. The mindset's entirely different. This is going down there to record, to show the world what I just overcame. Yeah. And to let them inside of the power of stem cells and how truly remarkable they are. In anybody, when I see anybody just says that's a bunch of bullshit, that doesn't work, I just smile. I'm like, I feel sorry that you feel that way because this is just supernatural healing, natural medicine at its finest of the body healing. And
there's a lot of good vegan spots down there too. I scoped them all out when I was down there for my treatment. So a lot of good places to eat.
Good deal. And I do want to say too, with people with BioAccelerator, and because I'm forever, just because it works. And I know, and it's, even if there was no wrestling, there was nothing. The quality of my life is so good now after it was so bad that to me, I get people that message and there's so many people in pain. And just with the way the world is, that I firmly believe if we could avoid surgery, there are times when it's absolutely necessary, but if we could avoid it, sometimes they want you to just have it. If I would have listened to the doctors, the two of them, that before I went the stem cell route, I would have had a 5-disc fusion and shoulder replacement. I would never, even wrestling would have been off the table. Quality of life would have been, my fitness would have gone down. I wouldn't have been the same. And not to say that I wanted to adjust it and to be happy eventually, but for me, I wasn't done yet. So it has given me my life back, a second chance of knowing what I know, and coming back. I feel like what I'm going to believe to be my prime best years haven't happened yet. So for people listening that have ailments or family members or loved ones that they want to look into stem cells, how can they best get in contact with you guys with BioAccelerator?
Well, you can go to the website, obviously, bioaccelerator.com, or you can email me, austin@bioaccelerator.com, and I can try to point them in the right direction. Yeah.
Good deal. Well, guys, I thank you very much for making the time to come back again, and I would love to have you back on again. We have to, so we have the audio perfect the entire time.
We got to do a collective eating challenge too. I think that'll get some good play.
I'm in for that. We could schedule that and make that happen, and a vegan food eating challenge for Ryback TV.
Vita Bites eating challenge.
Right. Let's do it. I'm in.
We can put down.
All right. Well, guys, you guys have a great day in Austin. I'll be talking to you a little later, but I appreciate it very much, guys.
Sounds good.
Thanks so much.
Take care, man.
Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you very much, Austin Aries and Sarah Brandow. Guys, we're going to go ahead and we got to stop the Instagram live over there. I apologize for the audio here, guys, early on. It was definitely but here it won't be an issue moving forward. That was from the Instagram. We just have to keep it down. It was on my end too on that. So but I got my microphone actually coming in, the new one that is going to be even better for the audio quality moving forward, because this goes up on all podcast platforms at the end of the day. I mean, right after the show. Sophie, stay here, babes. Sophie's doing very good for everyone asking. Also, she was just lying in here and somebody knocked on the door, so she ran to defend the house, and she's in much better spirits after her neck surgery. And I couldn't be more thrilled or relieved to have her home. So I thank you guys for all your loving comments. And I'm looking at a few of them right now here just to take a quick look. But guys, we are going to be back tomorrow with the Shooting Blanks Wrestling Report at 10 a.m. And I will be back on Friday for the Ryback Show. You never know who's going to pop in here on the live show. And maybe Carly Perez here on Friday. She has a new movie out as well. And I know she wanted to talk a little bit about it. So we'll continue to try to keep this show fresh and have people on from time to time. But again, thank you to Austin Aries and Sarah Brandow. And you guys, if you guys also for this on the iTunes, Stitcher, your iTunes reviews and Stitcher reviews are greatly appreciated. It really, really helps this show. If you could take a minute and just scroll on into that and leave a star rating and comment if you would like on the show, on things you like, things you don't like even. I'm always open to feedback and to improving the show. If you read dirt sheets or you hate me and want to say really negative, nasty things, I ask that you please refrain from that. But if that's what makes you happy at the end of the day, then so be it. But thank you guys very much for listening. Don't forget the Feed Me More Nutrition $4,000 Halloween giveaway, guys, on feedmemore.com. We have a lot of new fresh blog posts also on the site on health and nutrition. And we're going to continue to be adding content regularly to the feedmemore.com website. And stay tuned, guys. Actually, today, I believe that our 1-2-3 muscle joint and tendon supplement is going to be available for pre-sale with a ship date of January 15th. The manufacturer lead times are a little bit longer right now with COVID, but the 1-2-3 muscle joint and tendon formula is available for pre-sale. And with the discount codes, it is eligible for the codes. So you will be getting it at a discount on there. It is a really, really cool, comprehensive formula that I've used that has helped me tremendously with my muscle, my tendons, and my joints, mainly having full-blown arthritis in my right shoulder, that I really don't have any negative symptoms of even knowing, outside when I would get the grinding, which is very minimal now after we've gotten all the scar tissue broken up. But check that out, guys, on the website. And thank you guys very much for listening. You have just listened to the Ryback Show. Feed me more.